I'm going to be making some keychains, pendants and charms today using this lovely silver resin keychain frame kit that I received from Let's Resin. So although it says keychains, there's so many lovely different sizes here. So you've got these larger ones that can be used for keychains. You've got one that looks like a little puddy cat. This one I think looks a bit like a fox. You've got this lovely doggy shaped one, and that could be a lovely dog shaped one as well, and that could probably be anything you want it to be honest. And oh, there's a little rabbit as well. Isn't that adorable? And you've got these larger flower frames, that one, and that one. You also get a selection of hearts and circles, so there's 3 each of those. And then all these other little charm ones here. So some of these would be nice for pendants, so that size there. And then you've got these smaller ones like that one that would be lovely for little charms. And it also comes with the keychain bits to make the keychains. So you've got quite a few of those in there. And you get, in here you've got some chains. Just show you these. So you get a nice length of chain, which is actually quite a nice length for a bracelet. So you could make some bracelets as well. And then you get lots of little jump rings in there. I've got a selection of the Let's Resin coloured UV resin here. Lots of different colours there to choose from. About 17 or 18 different colours there. I've got the Let's Resin clear hard type UV resin. So I think let's start with the little doggy. So first of all, I'm just going to lay out some of this tape. Let's get some scissors. Chop a bit of that off, and then I'm just going to put a couple of little lolly sticks on either end, just so as I can move it around when I want to. And then we're just going to place the little doggy straight in the middle of that, pushing it down nice and firmly, making sure it's got contact with that sticky tape. Right, so I think I want to do this one like my husky. So I'm going to be using the white and the black. So I'm just going to quickly pop on a pair of gloves and then we can get started. My husky's black, white and grey, so I'm going to add some of the black into a pot. Squeeze some of that out. I'm not going to need a lot, I don't think. Maybe a bit more than that. Pop a bit more in. And then also some of the white. Some of that in there. And then mix that together. Just to get some lighter shades going on. Right, so first of all, I'm going to add, she's got white legs. So I'm going to pop some white down into here first. Some there. Some there. In that section there. And then in that bit there. She's got a white chest. So I'm going to put some white down in there. And most of her face is white, so that there. And then I'm going to go in with some black. Her tail is quite black, so I'm going to pop some of that in there. Her ear is black, but then she's got white on the inside. So I'm going to see if I can add a little blob of white in the middle there. And then Let's add some of this into the rest of her. I need to make up some more. Pop some of that in there. Let's just get some of this blended first. Maybe if I used a thicker stick. Let's use this one and put that in there. Blend that up round her head and down there. To make up a little bit more of the black and grey, or the black and white rather, to make a grey. So some more of that and some more of the white. And then mix that up. And then add that to there. A little bit more in that back end. Pop some of that in there. And let's top up some of this with the white. So a bit more white going in her leg. And then top up some of this as well. There we go. Just going to use my dotting tool just to spread that out to the end there. There we go. Just blend in some of that. And then same round that area there. I'm going to give that a quick torch, pop any bubbles, and then cure that. Let's just pop that out of the way. And I'm using the rechargeable UV light from Resin. So I'm just going to give that a zap for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to take a black permanent Sharpie pen and just colour in her nose there. Give her a little nose. And let's give her a little eye. And then her collar, I'm going to use a red Posca pen. She has a red collar. It's a West Ham United collar she has. Because I'm from Essex originally, so got to be West Ham. So we'll give her a little collar there. Just let that dry for a bit. And then I'm going to go in with the clear hard type UV resin and just give it a final top coat over everything. So just taking that all the way to the edges, up her tail there. And I'm just going to use my dotting tool again, just to take that to the edges and get that domed. So taking that down, that bit there, not forgetting her little back leg there, and then her front legs, and then some in that bit there, and then just make sure I've got up around that ear. I think that's everywhere covered. Just going to give that a quick zap with the torch, pop any bubbles, and then we'll cure that for a couple of minutes. So that's my first one done. There's my little husky. Isn't that adorable? Right, so what should we do next? Let's do one of these flowers next. So I'll get the tape and everything ready, and then I'll be back in a minute. For the two flowers, I think I'll use the yellow in the middle sections. So some yellow going in there, and the same again for that one there. And then round the outside of this one, I'm going to start off by adding some pink and just let that flow into those little sections there. And then use some blue around the outside. So filling up those individual petals with the blue and just letting them blend into each other. So that's that one. And then for this one, I think I'm going to use purple. Let's do purple around the outside. So a few blobs of purple just going around the outer rim of the flower. And then I'm going to go in with olive green for the rest of it. So filling up the rest of these with that colour. Lovely. And I'm just going to take my dotting tool and then just blend those in a bit. That's that one done. Let's do the same with this one. There we go. And I'm going to use, oh, I've got my glove stuck. I'm going to use the green and go in and do the green leaves. So filling up that section there. And then also that section there. Just letting it flow down first. Need to get some down into that section. Pop that little bubble that was there. And then I've got some of the Super Sparkle White from Tracy at Mini Scenes GB in this puffer spray bottle. So I thought I'd just give a little dusting of that over the top. Just add a little bit of sparkle to that. And then I'm going to cure this for a couple of minutes under the UV lamp. And then I'm just going to flip it over. I did do this with the dog as well. I forgot to show you that. So I'm just going to flip it over and then cure it again. So that's how that one's looking. Very pretty with that bit of sparkle going on in there. Right, what should we do next? Let's do this little fox next, shall we? I need to put a fresh pair of gloves on as well. I can't find my new box of gloves, so I'm just going to be careful, but please wear the appropriate PPE when you're working with any kind of resin. So I'm going to use black, white, brown, red, and I'm also going to use some of the wine mica powder from Let's Resin. So I'm going to start off by adding some of the red. Oh no, this isn't red. What's this? Brown. Oopsie daisies. So some of the brown into the pot, and then I'm going to add some of the red. Pop some of that into there, and then I'm also going to add some of the mica powder. So add a bit of that in there as well, and then get that mixed in together. And I'm just going to top it up with some of the clear and then get that mixed in. So that's that colour ready. So I'm going to start off by adding a tiny bit of the black up in the top section of the ears there. So one little bit there, a bit there. And then I'm going to go in with some of the white, put a little blob there, and same again the other side, and then the white down here. Let's just do this head first, and then I'm going to go in with this wine colour down in the middle, and then just fill in those gaps. And then I'm just going to use my dotting tool just to spread that around. There we go. And then for the body, let's do some white down the chest area there. And then maybe some in this bit here. And let's do a little white tip on the tail. And I'm going to go in with the black and give him some black paws. So a bit of black in there and a bit of black in there. And I think I'm going to add a bit of black to the tip of the tail as well. And then fill in the rest with this colour. So just carefully dropping that into there. And down this section down here. And some in the tail. Let's just get some going down in there. And then again using my dotting tool just to spread that around. Making sure I've got up to all those edges. Same with his little tail there. There we go. Just going to use cigarette lighter again just to pop any bubbles. And then we'll give that layer a cure for a couple of minutes. That's now cured on both sides. I just flipped it over and did 2 minutes on the other side. So I'm going to use the Sharpie pen again, and I think he's going to need a little nose. So we'll draw a little nose in for him or her, and a little mouth. And then we'll just give him some little eyes in there. There we go. So we're just going to leave that dry for a minute. And then I'm just going to use the clear hard type and just seal over the top of that and top up the rest of the bezel. So that in there. And in the rest of him, and then in the tail there. And then I'm going to use my dotting tool again just to work that all the way to the edges. So now that's all topped up, I'm just going to give it a quick zap with my torch, pop any bubbles, and then cure that for a couple of minutes. So that's our little fox all finished. He's adorable. I love him. Really pretty. Right, so let's do 3 of these next. We've got the larger flower, the little charm flower, and one that we can make out of a pendant. This is orange. So I'm just going to put a little blob of the orange into these petals around the outside here. And then we're going to top this one up with some of the white. So just fill in the rest of the sections up with the white. So a few bits going in each petal. So that's that filled in. And then I'm just going to use my dotting tool just to make sure that I've got it all the way up to the edges there. And then for this one, I'm going to do it in the royal blue because I want this one for myself for a little forget-me-not. So let's fill this one in just with a plain simple blue. And then same again, just using my dotting tool, just working that all the way to the edges. And I think that one just needs a little bit more of a top up in there. There. So I think before I do that one, I'll cure these 2. So a quick cure for a couple of minutes. And for the heart, I've got some dried flowers, and I'm just going to start by adding some clear resin in the bottom, and then just working that to the edges with my dotting tool, and then pop any bubbles with the lighter. I'm going to place the leaf down into that to start with. Then I'm going to add, let's add this bit here up the top there, and then we want something to go down the side. I think we'll place some of these down into that area there. Let's just move that over with my dotting tool, and then I think we'll put that bit down in the bottom there. So I think that's probably enough, and then we'll give that layer a cure, and then we just top them all up using the clear hard type. So I'm just going to fill in all of these now. So that one, I don't think the blue one needs it, I think that's okay. So I'm just going to do the same with this one, and then work all that resin out towards the edges and get a nice dome on that heart one. And then we're going to do the same with this flower. And we're just going to give it a quick zap with the torch, pop any bubbles, and then we can cure that on both sides for 2 minutes. These are all cured now, so that's the little heart, very pretty. I don't know if you can see that properly, can you? You could probably put a colour behind that, like a white or something, but I quite like it clear, so I'm going to leave it clear. That's the little orange and the white one, very pretty, and the little plain blue forget-me-not. So let's start putting some of these together. I have made off camera a couple of other little ones, so we just got a plain red one, plain yellow one, and some of that leftover mica powder one for that. So I thought let's start with the little mishka and put this one together. So we've got the keychain and we've got the jump rings. So I'm going to start by adding one of the jump rings to there. Oops, let's move it over a little bit. Pop that through there and through the little loop on the top there, and then close that one up. And then I thought the little red flower would go nice on there as well. So I'm going to use, I think I'll use one of my other jump rings and save these ones because these are really strong. So I'll save those for something else, and I'll use one of these. So I'm just going to pop that other little flower through there and then onto that top ring. On the top ring or one down? No, let's do it on one down. Pop that on there. So that's the first keychain done. Love that, so pretty. And let's do this pendant next. And I've got one of my own chains for this. These are just from Amazon. And I've also got a pinch bail. So I'm going to attach the pinch bail to the top there. Just squeeze that together. So that will sit like that. And then I'm just going to put the chain through that top bit. So that would just go through that top section. And then close that back up. So that's the pendant all done. It's beautiful. I like that. So that's that one. And what should we do next? Let's do the little fox next and make a keychain out of him. So again, I'm just going to attach the fox to the keychain. Pop that through there, and then that through there, and then close that one up. And then I'm going to add this little flower to the top. So another one of my own jump rings. Oops. And open that one up and pop that through there and through that little loop there. Close that up. So that's my little fox. That's adorable. And let's do the little forget-me-not next. And the chain that came with the set from Let's Resin, I've added a lobster claw clasp onto one of those chains, and I'm going to use one of their nice strong jump rings, and I'm going to add that through there, and I think I'll just pop that just somewhere in the middle and then close that one back up. So that's a pretty little bracelet done. So that would go around like that. That's lovely, I like that. So that's that one. And let's do this one next. So one of these jump rings through that little loop at the top there. And then through the keychain. Close that one back up. And then with this one, I think I'll add the little yellow flower. Pop that through there. And then through the top of that one. So that's that one finished. And then finally we've got this one. And I think we could make this one into a pendant as well. I've got this delicate little pinch bell with a little stone on it. So I thought that would be quite pretty for this one. So I'm just going to pop that in there and then squeeze that one closed. And then pop a chain through that one there. And then fasten that one up. So that's that one finished. Absolutely gorgeous. This kit is absolutely lovely. I love this. And look at all the other bits I've still got. Still got loads to make. Haven't made the bunny or the pulley cats or these ones. We've got these flowers. You've even got this lovely chunky flower here as well. Absolutely gorgeous. So thank you Let's Resin for sending me out this lovely kit to try out. I've thoroughly enjoyed making all these pieces, and thank you ever so much everyone for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.